happens to the spirit of an animal as the animal crosses over? I'm going to tell you what happens based on my experience as an animal communicator. So the first time that I went to connect intuitively with an animal that was getting ready to cross over, I really didn't know what to expect. It is now a thing that a lot of people come to me to have done. They want me to connect in with their animal and find out, what does their animal want for this crossing? How do they want it to go? What do they want for people there? Do they want to do it at the vet? Is it going to happen naturally? That kind of thing. And I had talked to animals where they were going to cross over way in the future. Like, hey, this is how I want it to go. This is what's going to happen. But I hadn't connected with an animal that was about to cross over until this one time that I'm going to tell you about. So I connect in intuitively with the animal. The woman was there. This was actually on the phone, and it was a dog. And the dog was very, according to the human, the human had told me the vet had said this dog's going to cross over any day now. So she wanted me to talk to him and make sure that he was okay. Did he need anything? So I connect into him. And at first the connection's a little tough. Now this was like, I don't know, maybe like 15, 18 years ago, but the connection was a little tough. I wasn't as experienced at doing animal communication as I am now, but also it was a little like, it was almost like he was a little bit further away. The connection was a little bit stretched, distant. That's the best way I can describe it. So I connected with him, and I had to take a few minutes to kind of strengthen the connection and get used to how this connection was working. I hadn't experienced this maybe like lighter connection before. So I connect in with him, and finally we're at the level where I'm like, okay, I can start sharing with the human. And so he's telling me things about his life, and he's feeling grateful, and that all of that stuff is making sense. And then she says, well, can you tell me, can you ask him how he's feeling in his body, what's going on right now? So I connect in with him, and he shows me a picture. And he shows me a picture of him, like he was a dog. In my head, he was a black dog. I don't know what he was in real life, but in my head, he was like a dark browny black dog, kind of like a lab. It doesn't matter. So in my head, he was kind of a dark dog. So shows me a picture of him, and I see the whole outline of him. But then what I see is it's kind of like the top part of his head is not really filled in. So the rest of him from the neck down looked like normal dog body in this picture, but the head was almost like just a drawing, like an outline. It was almost like see-through. And I said to the woman I was working with, does that make any sense to you? Because that's one of the things that I do when I'm doing a reading, is I want to make sure that whatever I'm pulling up, the human understands if there's a human involved, because I'm not going to understand it. I'm not in that relationship. So I say, does this make sense to you? And she's like, no, not really. I said, does he seem spacey or something? Or I don't know. We tried to figure it out. Nothing made sense. So obviously I go back to him and I ask him, okay, so you're showing me this picture, and this part of from your neck up is empty. We can't figure out what you mean by this picture. So can you give me more information? And so then in the picture, the neck that was an outline, the shoulders start to become outlined. And then it goes down to the chest, and the chest is becoming outlined. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this. So I explain this to her again, and the human, and she's, I don't know what to do. So I go back to the animal. Okay, we still can't figure it out. What is this? And then he shows me a picture of, he shows me more of the picture. So the original picture that I was seeing was the outline of his head, and then all the way down to his bum. And it was pretty close up, so I'm just seeing that. And that's how animals work when they're doing animal communication sometimes. They show you only the pertinent parts. So then the next visual I get, it's like it's further away from me, so I'm seeing more of what's in the picture. And when I'm seeing more of what's in the picture, what I'm seeing is that there's actually, at his bum, there's actually this energy there. And the energy as I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of weird. It was sparkly energy, it was pretty energy, it was, but it was a whole clump, a whole lot of energy down near the butt area. So I'm like, I explained it to her, she doesn't know, we go back. Now this is how I figured out so much of how I figured out in animal communication, literally by doing readings and, you know, talking to the animal and the human and trying to come to some conclusion about what it means if it's not clear. So I go back to the animal and I say, okay, you know, great, you're giving me more information, but I still don't get it. So then it becomes a little movie. And as you get better and more open and more comfortable with your psychic abilities, you do get movies. In the beginning, you only get visuals like quickies, but as you get more comfortable with it and you know what to look for, you can have movies. So then the whole picture comes into play. So now I'm seeing the outline in the head, it's back up, and the rest of the body is filled up, and there's only a teeny bit of energy down here in the bum. And then as the outline is growing, meaning as more and more is becoming outlined, the energy in the bum is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's moving upward like this. This is all like how we figured it out. This is what happens to an animal's spirit when they're crossing over. Their energy, their spirit, whatever you want to call it, starts to leave their body and it comes out their rear. Now, I only recently was told by an animal, it's not really their rear, it's their first chakra, the root chakra. It's going through the root chakra and then it's basically going where we're going to call it to the other side. But I didn't know that really until recently, and it's because I'm always learning, right? The animals are always teaching me and they're telling me what I'm ready to hear. So this is what happens. Now, there's another thing about this though, a really cool thing. When the, as the spirit is leaving the body, if this is happening like the animal is sick or the animal's going to die of old age, or even with euthanasia, what's happening is the animal's becoming less and less connected to their physical body. So as this energy is moving out the bum or the root chakra, what's happening is the animal might be spacey, the animal might not seem like themselves. And then the last piece of what I saw happen, and I didn't see it before it happened. So I want to be very clear about that. I got all this information, I shared it with her. We were like, wow, this is amazing to learn this, etc. Then she went off and he actually died in the field the way he asked to. And you know, all of that happened. She came back to me and we did another reading. And she said, can you ask him to show you what happened when he crossed over? And so they got out into the field and there was a vet there, and this is all the stuff that he'd asked for, and she was there, and these certain clouds were going on. And what he showed me was by the time they got to the field, his spirit was almost all the way out of the bum or the root chakra, almost all the way out. But there's like it needs a tug. It needs a burst of energy in order to be able to release. So what I saw happening was then the energy came out the bum. So now we've got this visual of this dog and the energy's here because the bum's here. And there was this little black line between the two of them, just a thin black line. This is what I'm seeing in my head psychically from the dog. And it suddenly went, how did it go? There was almost like a that the dog went through like this. So this was through euthanasia, and the dog went like that. Like it was like a spasm in his body. And when that happened, that thin black line of energy that was connecting the physical body to the spirit of the animal broke. And the spirit was free to go. And that was the moment that I think most people would say that was his moment of actual passing.